Lionel Sanders. Let's talk about Lionel Sanders. We're both quite similar in body fat, lean. But the difference between me and Lionel Sanders is the dude's way faster than me in terms of the run, swim, bike. Actually, on the bike it'd be interesting. But he's putting the work in. If I train as much as Lionel, I could definitely match him on the bike. I don't train much at all, okay? I hardly train. Why am I so lean? Because I eat very, very low fat and protein. Now, this video is about, and by the way, check out Lionel Sanders. He has some great content on there on YouTube. But recently he posted something about his hemoglobin A1C. The glycated hemoglobin levels around 5.9, which is not that high. Especially for a cardio athlete of elite level. So Lionel is elite level, triathlete. And if you've been watching some of his content, he does mention my name here and there. So name drop there. Thanks, Lionel. This is the power of YouTube, isn't it? We get to learn things from each other. So Lionel hadn't done blood tests, which I found quite interesting. You always got to do your test your bloods, hemoglobins, etc. See how things are going on. So when you got a blood test, and the doctor said, "Oh, you're pre-diabetic. It's 5.9 hemoglobin A1C." Doesn't mean shit. Doesn't mean nothing. It's the blood test. The glycated hemoglobin A1C test is a snapshot. Okay. One test isn't even accurate. It could have the numbers could have been skewed. Okay. Do another test, different lab. Okay. Get a different result. So this is a mistake people do. Is they just like with power meter data. I had a friend who bought some Asioma pedals and riding up Joyce Tep one time, and he's riding to watts. And his power meter was way off. I've been using power since 2009, so I can feel the watts. I can feel if it's 320 or 340 or 400 or whatever. I can feel that. And he's riding to watts, and I'm like, dude, your power meter's cooked. All right, they're just inaccurate. Anyway, so he's getting dropped out the back, and this is a guy who can normally sort of keep up with me for the most part, but he's riding to power, and he's just dropping on a wheel. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like, your power meter is broken. It don't work. He's like, no, these are brand new. They cost me X, Y, Z. I'm like, they're fucking not working, bro. Anyway, next ride, he didn't listen to the power meter, and he kept up, okay? And case in point, the power meter was wrong. Are these blood tests wrong? It's a possibility, right? You never want to just see one blood test and go, okay, let's make some changes on one blood test. Or let's draw some conclusions from one blood test. This is the first discussion. People are talking about this Lionel Sanders video, this blood test results, but no one's, from what I've seen, no one's talking about the potential inaccuracy of a blood test. That's the first one we're going to cross off the box. Is the blood test actually even freaking accurate? Okay? Now let's say it is accurate. What does it mean, slightly elevated high normal A1C? What does it mean? Depends. What does it mean if a human has a heart rate of 180? For some people, they're going to ER. For some people, for me, I'm holding that for an hour in a cross-country mountain bike race back in the day. You know what I mean? So it depends. The context is very important. So elevated high normal A1C in someone like Lionel Sanders is zero cause for concern. Because if I've tested so many athletes over the years, last 20-something years, and 1999, so what's that? Over 25 years or whatever, with blood sugars and stuff, and A1C, it's very common for high-level athletes to have a slightly high normal A1C. Why is that? Because when you're driving hard on the bike, especially the cycling, because you're doing a long time on the bike, your blood sugars go up, man. Exercise spikes the fuck out of your blood sugar. Exercise spikes your blood sugar. Spikes your blood sugar. Everyone gets crazy when they say, spikes the sugar. People are like, I can't eat sugar because I get a blood sugar spike. If that's bad, then don't do exercise. All right? The highest blood sugar you'll see is running your PR mile or whatever. Or doing like a just full-on sprint for like a mile. Just get a CGM in your arm, put it in there, sync it up, put on your alpha flies, and just run, man. Run. All right? Run for a mile as hard as you can go, and watch your sugar spike the fuck out of the stadium. Okay? Context, people. Context. I can't do exercise because exercise spikes your blood sugar. If you wake up and your heart rate is 180, there's an issue if the data is correct. Okay, there's an issue there. If you're super fit and your heart rate's 180, and you're flexing in the last lap of a crit or doing a crit off the front, then it's normal, you know. So it's context, people. Context. Now let's talk about the diet part. Lionel Sanders, he's very lean. He trains, 20, 30 hours a week or whatever, more maybe. So to avoid weight loss, then an amount of fat and protein needs to be consumed so your weight doesn't get too low, okay? If Lionel Sanders did all Lionel Sanders training on my dietary regime, he would probably lose 20 pounds. And is that a good thing or a bad thing? We'd only know on how he performed after that, okay? So my dietary program is extreme restriction of fat and protein. My diet regime is based off type 1 diabetic nutritional protocols from Harold Hemsworth, etc., and what Dr. Ferrari recommended to Lance Armstrong, and what the world's fastest runners eat, and what works for all the ballerinas and models and stuff like that, and what is tasty, sustainable, cheap, etc. High carb, low fat, super high amounts of sugar, refined sugar, white table sugar, high amounts consumed, and really is pushing the fat and protein right down. Because fat and protein, we know, eaten causes insulin resistance. And insulin resistance is not a bad thing. But if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to get your blood sugars down, or more stable, I should say, then insulin resistance, we want to push that down. I want to bring insulin sensitivity up. The higher you can get insulin sensitivity, the better you recover as an athlete. This is facts. People are like, you need protein for a cut. If you want to be 100 kilos, then yeah, protein's the goal. If you want to be a lean, vascular, you can't really see it, but if you want to be super, look at that freaking anatomy chart there, man. Look at that. People are like, that's gross, bro. You got no fat on your face, mate. I don't. The fat you don't eat is the fat you don't wear. Yeah, the fat you eat is the fat you wear. So if you want to burn body fat, stop eating the fat, and that will cause insulin sensitivity to go up, insulin resistance to go down. So Lionel Sanders, if he wants to get his A1C down, then just cut the fat. Just cut the fat and protein, and your numbers will drop right off. People say, well, just cut the carbs, your numbers will drop off. Yeah, that's true, but good luck doing anything in life worthwhile on insufficient carbohydrate intake. Well, we're just going to swap out refined sugars for whole food sugars, Harley. Like, swap out the sugar for the rice. You need both. You cannot be your best self just on rice. You need sugar, and you need fruit, okay? Fruit for breakfast, fruit for lunch with sugar, and then rice for dinner with sugar as your mainstay. Don't do that before you knock up. People are, I want to see some research, Harley. do the experiment on yourself. It's like saying, right? It's like me and you would go to a nightclub, right? And let's say you're a virgin, bro. Oh, sugar's bad. I don't know about this, Harley. I don't know. I need some studies. So you're a virgin, bro, fearing sugar. We go to the club, right? And you've never ever had deep throat. And we go to the club and I'm like, sit chick over there, say this, say that, it'll happen. And you're like, well, show me the study, Harley. Show me the random blind control study that says getting a deep throat gobby from a really horny hot chick is going to make me feel better. That's the sort of fucking mentality we're talking here. Show me the study. You could be drowning. You do your sugar-free shit and you go for a swim at the beach. You get pulled in a riptide and you're drowning, right? And then I'll run out there. I'll swim out there, paddle out there on my board. Okay, hey, chuck the life jacket on. You're like, well, I want to see a study that says life jackets will help drowning people. It's like, fuck. Before taking action, I want to see a study. So fucking, before I look left and right when I cross the street, I want to see a study. That makes that sense, Fucking hell, man. These days, anyone can get a CGM and prove that. So when you got people out there who cut sugars. They got the CGM, the continual glucose meter, synced up with the app. So they got the blood sugars every few minutes coming in. And then so they go, well, I cut carbohydrate, my blood sugars are dropping down. Okay, well, now you're treating the symptom versus the cause. That's like saying, I can't run because I've got an injury. Running's bad for your knees. Now I don't run, I'm cured. And then you go try and run again, your knees are cooked. Okay, so when people cut carbohydrates and then they use a CGM, the numbers are going to go down. But then what happens when you have carbohydrates again? You're going to have all this elevated fasting insulin and insulin resistance, fasted sugars in the morning, you'll have the number one gold standard for insulin resistance test is the oral glucose tolerance test. We have 50 or 100 grams of dextrose or glucose or sugars, and then you record your blood tests afterwards, your blood sugars afterwards, and see if it comes up and it comes back down. with someone with insulin resistance, blood sugar goes up and just stays up for a long time. Okay? So that's when you know you're insulin resistant, is when you have carbohydrate and your blood sugars don't come back down. Okay? And that is everybody on a keto diet. That is everybody who's having those Reese's peanut butter cup things. Okay? The fat blocks the insulin sensitivity. The dietary fat, dietary protein blocks insulin sensitivity. Okay? And so the more fat you eat, the more protein you eat, the more insulin resistant you become. Insulin resistance is good if you're trying to get fucking huge, bro. Huge, bro. Because insulin's massively anabolic. Now, most people out there trying to lose weight, most triathletes, most runners, dancers, UFC fighters, pro cyclists, world tour riders that I converse with who are asking me for advice, they want to lose weight. I've never had a professional cyclist say, Harley, help me gain 5 kilos. Help me gain 5 kilos for the classics. It's like, help me lose 10 kilos for the classics. What do I do? You know, what's this vegan thing? Tell me more about this. You know, my fat nutritionist says it's bad. But you're Harley, you're ripped all the time and you train up and down, whatever. You know, this is what I love. It's like, I'm hardly trained, I'm super ripped, and, you know, simple as that. My lifestyle is designed for sedentary people to get them out off the chair and get them outdoors and get them going. It's designed for type 1 diabetics. It's designed for the most fittest humans on the planet. It supports that workload. So the problem with the Lionel Sanders video is that people are running with that, like carbohydrates are bad. It's the fat intake, okay? Fat intake is the issue. If you want to lower A1C, you don't really need to, but let's say you do want to do that. Let's say you are type 1 diabetic and you do want to do it. If you're type 1 diabetic and you're not an endurance athlete, then lowering your A1C is a good thing. If you're an endurance athlete, then a 5.9, in my opinion, is fucking normal, okay? But let's say you want to drop it, you drop the fat and protein. So if Lionel dropped the fat and protein, he's going to lose weight, and that will make him better on the run, and it'll make him better on especially the run, and make him better on the bike as well. But then again, a lot of triathlon courses are pretty flat, so the weight matters, but not as much. But definitely Lionel would benefit most on the run because every 100 grams as a runner definitely counts. On the flat road as a cyclist, not as much, but it still adds up. So there you go. That's all Lionel has to do is drop the fat and protein intake. And if you read the articles, I think it was on Try 24/7 or some website, Lionel's talking about all the fat he eats, the Reese's peanut butter cups and stuff. And if people have sugar with fatty foods like that, and then they blame the sugar for insulin resistance when it's actually the fat. Sugar cannot cause insulin resistance, people. Look it up. This is always documented for the people that want the studies. You know, and do the experiment yourself. Get the CGM in, cut your fat and protein out, and watch insulin sensitivity just, boom, come right up. And especially if you're type 1 diabetic. My favorite people to work with are type 1 diabetics because they're so sensitive. They've got continual CGM in there. They've got the insulin pump. They're on it, man. They're on it. Every type 1 diabetic knows insulin resistance and insulin sensitivity. And they do my protocols, and they're like, Harley, I'm using the least insulin of my life ever. Why didn't my endocrinologist tell me about this? And I'm like, well, some endocrinologists know what to do. Some don't. Some endocrinologists know who Harold Hemsworth is. So if you are a type 1 diabetic and you do have an endocrinologist, just flick them an email, call them up, say, hey, do you know who Harold Hemsworth is? And if the endocrinologist doesn't know who the Harold Hemsworth is, that's like walking into a bike shop and the sales staff doesn't know who Lance Armstrong is. You know what I mean? It's like walking in a bike shop and not knowing what Specialized is, or Trek or Cannondale, okay? And pretending you know what you're talking about. So it's just, yeah, it's like working in a running store. It's not knowing who Harold Hemsworth is and being a doctor or an endocrinologist or somebody who works in diabetes is like working in a running store and not knowing what Nike is. It's like working in a Nike store. It's like working in a Nike store and not knowing what a fucking Alpha Fly is. What are you doing in there? Quit before you're fired, you know? So that's the reality out there. So people we put this blind faith in doctors and, you know, I coach doctors with nutrition. I coach doctors with diabetes advice and weight loss, okay? Like doctors come to me, Harley, I've got this fat guy. How do I lose it, bro? You fucking ripped, mate. What are you doing? Ozempic, what are you doing? None of that shit. Fuck that off, you know? Do my diet protocols. Right? Even if you're just, you know, I have quadriplegics, I have paraplegics doing my diet protocols. So please, people, stop saying it's only for athletes. Yeah, it's for the highest level athletes, and it's also for quadriplegics. It's also for paraplegics. If you're a human, this will work for you. Just like if you're a horse, grass works for you, okay? If you're a race horse or a stock horse or a wild horse, Grass always works for you, horsies. Okay, there's no meat eating horses out there. There's no horses. Oh, well, I gotta lug all these logs around. I'm a wood chopper horse or whatever. I'm not gonna eat steak. So it's just fucking bullshit, man. You know, like, which gorilla out there is drinking fucking whey protein shakes? You know, stop the cap, people. Stop the cap. So I need protein for recovery. Says who? Says who? You know, you're just reading that. You're just regurgitating marketing hype. Do the experiment, man. Do the experiment. I did 6,500 kilometers in a month one time, and eating super low fat, super low protein, got absolutely shredded better that month. Absolutely shredded. You know, and then had to start eating more fat, so it didn't go under 60 kg. It's amazing. This lifestyle is the best. But hey, then you get too skinny, Harley. You're too skinny, mate. But sugar makes you fat. Which one is it? Harley, you're too skinny. I've been seeing this for like 16 years on YouTube. Yeah. Harley, you're too thin, mate. You're scrawny. Sugar makes you fat. And it's like, hang, which one? Whoa. I'm too skinny, or sugar makes you fat. Which one is it, bro? Which one is it? You know, and put me and you up on a hard. Let's go and do hard labor, man. Yeah, hard labor, like carrying shit out. You know, pulling stuff around all day in the heat. Hard labor. I'm going to do it better than you are, okay? If you're doing a carbohydrate low or minimization diet, if you're eating like Joe Rogan, imagine me and Joe Rogan doing hard labor, man. Imagine me and Joe Rogan in a hard labor camp. Joe Rogan will be gassed in the first 5 fucking minutes. And I say that respectfully. Joe Rogan's diet, he eats like a fucking hyena, all right? He's going to be full of all this metabolic waste products. He's gassed out. Who going to give a mobile phone to, me or Joe Rogan? And the goal is to run to the top of the mountain, 1,000-meter elevation, to get call for help, get a call signal. All right, we're out walking, a boulder falls around, traps your leg. There's only one phone with us as reception. We've got to go run to the top of the mountains, 1,000-meter elevation vert. Who are you going to give the phone to? Joe Rogan or fucking me? Okay, it depends if you want to live or not. If you want to die, give it to Joe Rogan. You want to live, give it to me. That's your best chance. So, what do I eat? I eat like a fucking rabbit, don't I? Rice, sugar, fruits, carbohydrate. There you go. Make you weak and frail, don't it? But then again, you're going to give me the mobile phone, aren't you? You're going to employ me on your hard labor camp. You ain't going to record Joe Rogan and the Inflammation Gang, all right? Who gas out in 5 minutes, 5 seconds. Okay? Fuck that. Anyway, no shade. Just gets me hyped up when people like Joe Rogan and that talk anti-carbohydrate. There's such misinformation. And then you have guys like Lionel Sanders, good legit bros who are just trying to find out the best way to perform and stuff. You get guys like Lionel Sanders get caught up in a bit of sugar phobia, not understanding, it's crazy. So that's Lionel, see this video, bro. If you want to drop your A1C, you don't have to, because it's pretty normal to have that number as a elite endurance athlete like yourself. But if you do want to drop the HA1C, then just cut the fat and protein, man. Go vegan, cut the oils, cut out the nuts and seeds, and just live on fruit, rice, sugar, corn, potatoes, maybe some oats, and no oils, no nuts, no seeds, no nature's bars, man. Those things are insulin resistant bombs, man. They're full of fat. Those nature energy bars, full of fat, man. Full of fat, full of protein. It's going to spike your insulin resistance there. And but again, because you're training so much, you're going to clear that quickly as well. So I don't think you have to do anything with the A1C personally, but I would really recommend doing my protocols, and they are vegan. I don't recommend a vegan diet, because that could mean anything. It could be like broccoli and sprouts, and that's it, and you just bonk in the first 100 watts. I recommend doing my protocols. I've done many videos about it. It's just fruit, rice, sugar, corn, oats, sugar, water, minimal caffeine, if any, minimal stims, if any, and you'll have much better sleep. And I think Lionel mentioned something, how he has some sleep issues or whatever. And pissing at nighttime is fine, bro, all right? Get a water bottle, all right? Get a big bottle and just piss in that. You do not need to get out of bed to have a piss. Just roll over and piss in the bottle. Make sure the hole's big enough, and just don't piss in the carpet. Don't piss in the carpet, all right? Just don't piss in the carpet. But then again, if you're so hydrated, if you do piss in the carpet a few times, it won't really smell, will it? So Lionel Sanders talking about going up to bed at nighttime, having a pee. That's fine, bro. That's like, if I'm not pissing at nighttime and I'm training hard, then I know I'm not hydrated enough, okay? If I don't piss at nighttime and I'm not doing much training, that's okay. But if I'm training hard, man, and I'm not pissing at nighttime, that's a concern. My recovery is going down, my hydration is going down, my urine-specific gravity is going up, it's getting more dense. So that's a little wrap-up video there. Fat and protein is always the issue. Harold Hemsworth, look him up, and A1C in endurance athletes at elite level, it's very, very normal for it to be high normal. Again, is the blood test even accurate? Simple as that. The most accurate test for diabetes is the oral glucose tolerance test. And if anyone fails that, then you just drop the fat and protein for a few days, right out of your diet, and all of a sudden, magically, you pass your type 1, or your type 2 diabetes test, the OGTT. And if you're type 1 diabetic and you cut your fat and protein down, your insulin requirements will be right down. Again, just, there's plenty of videos out there I've done about it. I've interviewed type 1 diabetics, etc. And that's where I've learned most of my work from, is type 1 diabetics, man. It's just every single time. The type 1 diabetic cuts fat and protein and increases sugar intake, they use less insulin. Every fucking time.